Hello, everybody. Suzy Woo here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We record this every week via Zoom. If you'd like to get on the live with me, you can go to my website and right on the home page, there's a link that you could join so that you can be on us during the Zoom, and then this gets uploaded to YouTube every week. Alrighty. So today we're going to be talking about uh current current astrology. And then sometimes we sprinkle in some personal readings. I have one I did yesterday I'm going to be uploading, just a cold read because I want to demonstrate like how fun it is to read astrology. I encourage, people to maybe take a jab at learning astrology. It really is a lot of fun, and it is a language. So when you learn how to read the language, it kind of loosens up your intuition a little bit on a subconscious level and helps you to weave your intuition um, in when you are reading the language of astrology, and your results are going to be out of this world. And that's what I do. So when I first started to do psychic readings and tarot and all that kind of thing, I was terrified. And so instead, my gateway was astrology because because astrology and astronomy are a science. And when you learn how to read the language, then you are simply reading and you're not using any of your own stuff. And so that is how I entered into this whole kind of woo-woo industry, into the field of it, because I was terrified of being accused of being a phony well, not or, just period. And but one thing led to another, and then I started to test what I was getting with people, and they're like, "Oh my God, like that's right. Like, how'd you know that?" And I just thought it was so fun and so cool that it just kept on going. And so now I do all kinds of stuff, but I do teach everything I know. And so if you resonate with my vibe, then I definitely would invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're part of the Zoom, you automatically get added to my email list. And so you get Woo's letters from me once or so a month. Okay, so let's talk about the current astrology. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive right in. First of all, the house system that I'm using is the simplest way to explain this so that it's easily visible and easy to describe. And it's called the natural house system. Okay, and so, oops, I gotta stop this share. I just want to make sure that we're recording. Yeah, we're on. Okay, here we go. So this is today, June 19th at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern, because that is the time zone that I live in. I'm in southwestern New York, near the Pennsylvania border. Alrighty, and so we have I always want to go to whatever jumps out. So the very first thing that jumps out to me is the fact that we've got Uranus down here, where Uranus belongs, down below, right? In the sign of Taurus. Well, anything that is at the very final degree of its sign is a critical degree. The 29th degree is also called an anaretic degree. And what it could bring up is crisis. Now, if you've ever put your time and effort into something and it has a deadline, and as the clock seems to be wildly moving faster than you can complete your assignment or your task, that pressure starts to build. Then you may start to think irrationally. It is that. and you might do things out of character. How can you buy yourself more time? I've got to now cram because there's a huge sense of urgency. I got to complete this thing. I got to get it turned in. Oh no. And then maybe somebody calls you on the phone and you're like, you freak out on them. They have no idea what's going on about your crisis. And anybody else's life is not responsible for your crisis. There's that one phrase, your crisis is not my emergency, right? Or your emergency is not my crisis. Okay. Um, but in the heat of the moment, you're under a crunch, you're under pressure. It could be duress. There is a sense of urgency to get something done, and I'm running out of time. And so that is the nature of the anaretic degree. Then you have to fold into that the sign. And then the overcast of that is the planet. And so the planet Uranus is god of the skies. It is rebelling, revolting. I'm suddenly seeing the Twisted Sister video. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. All right. So that is saying absolutely freaking not. Get out of my way. I'm revolting. I'm standing up for myself. This is who I am. I'm not who you want me to be. And I'm not going to conform. Not going to do it. I'm not going to say what you want. I'm not going to recite. I'm not going to um, repeat after you. I'm not going to follow the leader anymore. It is that last moment when Popeye says, I can't stand no more, and he eats the spinach, and sometimes it goes into his pipe or whatever, but he gets that spinach, and all of a sudden, ka-ching, ching, kapow, blam, and he knocks Brutus, Bluto on his pituto. That is where we are with the planet Uranus. And so Uranus at the very last degree of Taurus could bring up crisis in what? So it's going to be Taurus things. What are Taurus things? Now, before I answer that question, we need to also be aware that there's beautiful Venus. Venus absolutely loves being in Taurus, and she's going to be there for a few weeks. I'll give you some dates. I took a screenshot so I didn't have to try to remember everything. Mm, Here it is. Venus is in Taurus from June 6th until July 4th. So we have another 2 weeks to go while she is in her glory. Now, this is going to bring great benefits if you happen to be a Taurus. If you're a Taurus rising, if you're a Taurus sun, or if you're a Taurus moon like me. Ooh. um, this can express itself as you have asked the gods for this, and Venus in her glory wants to bestow it upon you, wants to say, yes, there is no reason you can't have that. All you needed to do is ask. But what does your belief system support? And so let's say, as an example, you were born into not having a lot of money, and this is going to give you an imprint of a poverty mindset or construct, or this is what I'm used to. I'm used to not having enough, so I'm afraid to ask for things. Like if you're a kid and you didn't have your parents didn't have a lot of money and it was real tough times, and they would say, eat all the food on your plate because there's kids starving in China. Okay, not only does that give you a guilt complex, but it also makes you afraid to ask for seconds, right? So if you visit a friend's house and you're really hungry and something was really good, you might really hold back on going for a second helping because the limitations and the restrictions that were imposed on you around food, money, and valuables. Um, we need to break out of that construct and say, you know what? I'm not a kid anymore. And it's okay to outgrow what I was shown as valuable or what I was taught as scarcity. Why do I have that scarcity mindset? So, this is a really great time to take a look at your mindset around money, values, valuables, and the wealthy side of living. Now, if that is something you want, then you have to become it from the inside. And how do you do that? By living in alignment with your values, by speaking your truth, by not dimming your light because somebody else said it's too bright for them, by celebrating the wins of others. That helps to break that seal of support. And gosh darn right that it's going to come back to you. It's a beautiful feedback loop. So if you're walled off and you're like seeing everybody else having these great things and sharing their wonderful life and they're living beyond their greatest dreams, and you are like, oh, must be nice. Stop in your tracks because that is a victimhood mindset. This is a wonderful time for you to observe your mindset, to observe what and who you value and how you communicate. Because communication in the throat chakra is what Taurus governs over. In fact, um, the most beautiful singers have a strong Venus energy or a Taurus energy. Venus wants you to have the best that life has to offer. But if you come from a scarcity mindset, a poverty mindset, then you're going to say, oh no, I can't have that. Really, what's underneath and behind that is a lack of worthiness. I'm not worthy to have that. I don't deserve that. These have all been implanted in our very, very early formative years. Now, when that happens, it's functioning in the background in your operating system. So you've got your insert your name operating system. So I have the Suzy operating system. And that is a conglomeration of all of my thought patterns, my beliefs, my self perception. How do I rank versus the world around me? How much control do I have in my own life or not? All right. That creates your energetic signature. And that is your point of attraction, like in the law of attraction, if you listen to any of the Abraham Hicks material. And so, how you look at your world and your place in it needs to change, it needs to grow. But when it's in our subconscious operating system, that's exactly it, subconscious. We're not even aware of it. And that is why I'm doing this. Help bring your attention to it. Why can't you have the better things in life? Why can't you dress in the silks? Why can't you have the, what is it, milk and honey of life? Why not? Who says you can't? What's in the way? All of it is mindset, all of it. And so when people are looking at the cold, hard reality and you speak it, you are affirming it and concretizing it for you. The last thing you want to do for somebody who is having a great day is to say, oh, must be nice. That's kind of rotten. And imagine if that happens to you. And maybe it already has. So maybe this wonderful win happened, and you're like, hey, on Facebook, my win. And somebody goes under that and says, oh, must be nice. How does that make you feel? Now, this is going to kind of split some hairs because It depends on your personality style. Some of you are going to withdraw and you're going to be like, oh, darn, I feel so bad. I would never want to make anybody feel worse because I have something nice. I'm not going to share my wins anymore because it's such a, I don't want to worry about that. All right. That's actually not a good answer. Okay. Think of like the Family Feud and the Red Axe, man. But to each their own, just saying. Okay. Now to somebody who is living in alignment with their values, who is kind of wired in or dialed in with a feeling of purpose, a feeling of focus. I'm going to see you when you comment and you say, oh, must be nice. You know what? It is. It is. And there's no reason that you can't also have wins in your life. But you got to get the heck out of the way and allow yourself to receive those wins. If you continue to blame the rest of the world for your failures, then that's a victimhood mentality, and you're going to get more things in your life that will victimize you. And you want to use a higher level of consciousness. You cheer them on. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Maybe they won this vacation to the Bahamas. That's awesome. I hope you have a great time. Now, there's going to be other people who are like, oh, I hope that cruise ship burns to all hell. Okay, those are not your friends. Those are not the people you want to be hanging out with. I thought I heard a doorbell of somebody else coming in the room, so just checking. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, alrighty. And so you want to, during this time, these next 2 weeks, really get clear on your self perception. What do you allow into your life? Remember, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And so if you've got a negative Nelly in your circles, it's going to impact you. Okay? One bad apple doesn't need to spoil the whole bunch. But if you don't get it out of there, that is going to spread. Negativity spreads, it has an impact. It's up to you to protect your own energy. All right, let's move on there. Now, Venus in Taurus is absolutely beautiful. She wants to give you stuff. You are worthy. Open your arms and receive. Yes, I acknowledge the universe is trying to give me good stuff. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm worthy to receive it. Thank you. And then you go into gratitude. You have a little cry because you didn't have any clue this was coming. And you don't give it away because everyone's watching. You stop and you say, yes, it's exactly what I was asking for. So let's say you desperately need a new set of tires and it's going to cost you $1,000 to buy the tires and have them mount and balanced and installed. You don't have a pot to piss in. Okay, you got a regular job. You're sustaining your life, but you don't have extra, especially $1,000. And so you're praying and you're manifesting and you're meditating and you're vision boarding and you're doing all of this stuff. Oh, dear Creator, I desperately need $1,000 for safety for my vehicle's tires. And then you go to a 50-50 event for a charity because your friend has a disease and they're having a benefit for them. You go to the benefit, you win the 50-50, you win $1,000. And what do? Oh, everyone's looking. I got to give it back to the charity. They need it more than I do. No! That was Creator saying, I heard you. Here you go. Okay, the charity got the other 50%. That's why it's called a 50-50. Everyone's looking. I don't want to look selfish or greedy. Stop that. Here, Creator is saying, here, I heard your prayer. I am delivering. And you have to say, yes, thank you. And stop worrying about everyone else. It was your prayer being answered. You take the money. Remember, they got the other half 50-50 scales, okay? 50% on both scales brings balance. When you're like, oh, I'm going to give it back, clunk. No. Okay, this is not coming from a place of greed or entitlement. It's coming from a place of your prayers being answered and you're denying yourself of receiving it. I want you to expect the best. Get your mindset out of the way, and you are worthy to receive it. That is the beauty and the gift of Venus going through a sign that she rules, Taurus, and she also rules Libra. Okay, those are the two signs that are ruled by Venus. Okay, so Taurus is our finances, it is our possessions, our collections. It rules our throat, so our how we communicate. Uh, it's materials. It's physical, tangible. And if I didn't, it's also income. All right. So it is finances and money. And also it's the five senses. And so buy yourself a bouquet of flowers and bring them in the house. Or pick some beautiful flowers that are just growing in a field. Bring nature in. So every time you walk by, let's say you have them on your kitchen table. Every time you walk by, you make your cup of coffee or you're going in the fridge or whatever. The beautiful essence of nature is smiling on you. And when you bring beauty, which is Venus, beauty, nature too, inside, because Taurus is an earth energy, it's plants and gardens and flowers. You bring that inside, and it is going to subconsciously impact you, just like having background media on is going to impact you. That's why you'd never want to sleep with the TV on, because those ads are programming in your nervous system and disempowering you. It's almost like hypnosis. Okay, so you want to bring nature indoors for yourself. And now some of that stuff is going to be obviously conscious. When you walk by, you're going to look at those beautiful flowers. You might even lean in and smell them, or maybe you get a whiff of them. And it's just, it changes your energy field. And it helps you to realize, whether you realize it or not, I am that. I am nature. All is one. That's a reflection of me. Seeing the beauty in these flowers, going back to subconscious, is helping your higher self recognize the beauty in yourself. Now, a lot of us won't see it that way, but I'm just telling you, this is the way it happens. It does help you have recognition of the divine energy within you. Okay? You're all gods and goddesses. Okay? You have creator energy in you. Now, during the last 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks, as Venus is going through Taurus, this is when you really want to amp up your prayers. What do you need? And then, okay, that's needs. Write that down. And then, what do you want? And then make a third column. Needs, wants, and then desire, which has a little bit of a different feel. Here's my needs. Here's my wants. And here's my desires. Venus wants to give you your desires because Venus is about lush. It can be kind of lusty too sometimes, but it loves the finer things in life. And the creator energy is now currently aligned so that you can have it. It's kind of like I don't know what I'm thinking of, like a circle with a little chute, a little tunnel in it, and there's marbles, and you line up the chute to get like a gumball machine, or something like that. You turn the thing, and then the marble will come down the chute. Um, this is Venus granting you your wishes. All right. So you want to work with the current astrology. It's like riding the wave. Here's the weather. Now you know how to dress. You want to learn how to use astrology so you can work with it to manifest the life of your greatest dreams, goals, and desires. Now, coming back to this whole Uranus at the critical degree, the anaretic degree, uh, we also have the sun today. Here's the sun, this red circle with the dot in the middle. That's the sun. It's at 28 degrees of Gemini. So we are starting to close down, or we're getting to the end of Gemini season. And tomorrow, or actually later today and tomorrow, this will also be on the 29th degree. Uranus is the higher mind. It rules over Aquarius, which is also extraterrestrial. Gemini rules our thinking, our intellect. You can call it the lower mind. Both of these, in the next 24 hours, being at an anaretic degree, most likely is going to bring something in the media, something in the news that has to do. Okay, I got interrupted with a thought pattern that says plane crash. Now, Uranus does rule the skies and aerospace and air travel. And I am aware of one horrible plane crash that happened in India recently. And that was a result of, where's Red Mars? That was a result of Mars at the anaretic degree of the sign before it, which was Leo, which is fire, and added pressure of um, Uranus and Taurus. So both of those are fixed signs that were squaring one another when that happened. Now, Mars has moved on and is now going through the sign of Virgo, which we will touch on also. But right now, we've got, no, not right now. And so, what else is going on with these two planets at late degrees? Media explosion, news. I'm feeling a water main break, pressure blow, like a, almost like a, maybe like a helium tank or a gas, like a propane tank. Uh, like when you overinflate a balloon and it blows up. That's what I'm feeling. So that most likely is going to be somewhere in the world, but it'll make the headlines, it'll make the news. So this is stuff, these are the things that happen. And that is why I keep on saying astrology never lies. This is how you can use astrology to predict flavor of particular events, but you can't get overly specific because it covers multiple expressions. And when you have different expressions that combine, it gives you variables. And so it could be this, it could be that, but it's not broad stroke. It's not. This whole Uranus at the anaretic degree of Taurus, it's a big deal. Earth is Earth. I mean, Taurus is Earth. Uranus is lightning. And I talked about this last week, but this is volcanoes. Um, uh, for some reason, I feel like I have to say flooding, but neither one of those, Uranus and Taurus, is not, because Taurus is an earth sign versus water. So now I need to find the water. Well, we can see that the North Node is in water, and that tells us that flooding is happening because there's a higher purpose behind it. So even though it's devastating, there is something behind it that needs to come to the light. All right. What else is water? Oh, I got it. Duh. Jupiter's in Cancer. Okay, so that's water. There it is. That's our flooding. That is our flooding. Jupiter's at 2 degrees of Cancer. It is water. Jupiter is giant. Whatever Jupiter touches expands. And this is causing our flooding. Now, that is not actually going to go away, unfortunately. So there is going to be a lot of flooding this whole next 12 months. And water issues. This is going to speak to inflation with certain kinds of real estate. Most likely it's going to be like beach and beachfront properties because that's water. We're going to, uh, this is going to be busting the seal July 7th when Uranus moves into Gemini. And so some of the other stuff that we can expect to be seeing is spacecraft, extraterrestrial communication, more people channeling, more people speaking light language, more people having this extrasensory perception. Me and my crazy hands knock my phone off the table. Um, it's going to bring, oh, power grid. So it could bring power outages. I'm seeing like what I see, it reminds me of a radio tower, but it could be an electric tower that for some reason is falling into water. Now that's going to cause some problems. Um, and then process of elimination, grids going down so that better grids can go up. Okay, so do not despair. This is a necessary, it's not a necessary evil. It is an evolution because safer grids need to be established. And then hydropower is going to rise. Other means of electricity to be distributed in more safe manners than the current grid systems. Grid systems definitely going down. We already knew this, but now it's getting closer, like it's right there. And I'm gonna peg it for right around July 7th. Most likely it'll be a few days before or I would go a week, a whole week before. So the last day of June, peaking July 7th. But it's going to actually, that July 7th moment is going to start a brand new cycle. When a planet changes signs, it's very, very intense. There's always going to be headlines around the combination of the planet and the sign that it moves, that it's leaving and going into. And so Uranus moving and leaving out of this Earth sign at the last degree is bringing violent weather. Now, when it moves into Gemini, July 7th, that is a brand new 8-year cycle that is going to be about communication of the higher realms, higher nature. And so this is going to make people way more telepathic. It is going to increase your sensitivity of the nervous system. So you want to have a grip on your nervous system. You want to be sure you are staying centered and grounded, making sure you are taking good care of your physical body, your mental state, and your emotional well-being. You might feel rattled, you might feel lightheaded or not nausea or sleeplessness. There's a lot of these symptoms that can be happening. And what's contributing to that are these massive solar flares we've been having, these coronal mass ejections, and geomagnetic storms. Very, very intense. So because we live on the earth and we are earth creatures, remember we are a soul, we are a spirit having a temporary human experience. Okay. So your soul, your spirit is infinite, but this body or your meat suit it's a temporary house. Okay. So you want to treat it as a temple and honor it and take excellent care of it, which means you consume healthy media, positive media. You surround yourself with kind, loving people. It's better to have no one versus having a few that are rotten eggs because they will feed into you that negative crap. And who wants that? All right. So a lot of us are going to be departing from families, or family beliefs and traditions, because you know what? I don't live there anymore. And I don't want to force myself to eat every last pea on my plate because I was told that kids are starving in China. No, you eat until you feel satisfied and you don't need to stuff yourself. You don't need to force things. So, this is such a wonderful time to practice self discipline and break the conventional morals that were embedded, embossed, branded into you. Pull it from your subconscious to your consciousness. See if it still holds water. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, let it go. You don't have to keep doing that. And what is contributing to this too is Saturn, conventionality, the way I was raised, rules and restrictions. In Aries, my identity. And so we've got a pretty good theme going on about who are you and are you living in alignment with your values. Get your head out of the mix, realize you are worthy to receive huge, loving, beautiful abundance, and let yourself have it. Because you have the creator inside of you, why do you need anything else to justify your worthiness? You are worthy to receive all of the love of the creator, which also dwells inside of you. Live in alignment with that. It's an abundant universe. Mother Nature always is reproducing, is always recreating herself. Your brilliant genius body is always repairing itself. So even if you put crap in your body is trying to fight that off. And you might get a sick stomach. Well, don't eat the crap. Okay? Eat healthy as best as you can. Eat lean. Stay hydrated. Very important time for this stuff. All right. Okay. And then the other thing, as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about is this is Mars over here. Um, I'm noticing over here we've got Saturn and Neptune together, 1 and 2 degrees of Aries. That's fire. Mars is a fiery planet. It's also at 1 degree. Now, the sign of Virgo that it's in is an earth sign. So these don't like each other. They don't get along. Water and earth like each other. Think of watering your garden. They like each other. And fire and air like each other. Fire and air are masculine, where earth and water are feminine, they reproduce. Or a yin energy, a receptive, slower, soft energy. All right. Now, um, Mars is going to be going through Virgo. As you can see, it's at 1 degree, so it just got there. And Mars in Virgo is going to be there June 17th until August 6th. August 6th. So we still got another couple months to go. Who this is going to impact the most, Mars ruled signs, Aries and Scorpio. It's also going to strongly impact your Virgo placements, anything in your chart that you have in Virgo. If you are a Virgo rising, a Virgo sun, a Virgo moon, or any planets in Virgo, Mars is going to be skipping over it and high-fiving it. It's going to be enhancing it. This is not a bad thing. Virgo is our health and wellness planet. It is Earth, so it's our physical body, but it's also anxiety. And so Mars can be kicking up the dirt for you to simply look at and disseminate and say, why is this making me anxious? And you might realize it's a false stimuli that has nothing to do with your current life and it's something old. So maybe you always sleep with the light on and there's a power outage and you start freaking out because all the lights are off. Sit in that for a minute. Don't run away from it. Sit in the dark for just a moment. and realize in that right now moment, you're safe. There is no nasty animal chomping at your ankles. You are okay in this right now moment. And you might trace it, which I invite you to do. Follow the breadcrumb trail of why you've got this anxiety. And it might go all the way back to when you were little. And if you didn't go to bed on time, that the boogeyman was going to get you. And then when you reach the end of that line and you get to that story, now you can laugh it off because you understand there's no boogeyman. You are safe. And it was a scare tactic just to get you to get to bed on time because your parents needed a break or whatever it is. Okay. And so this beautiful signature here, Mars and Virgo, it's not a bad thing. Even though it doesn't exactly enjoy being in an earth sign because earth is slow and Mars is very fast. Mars can be kind of haphazard and rammy and rushed and intolerant. And so, how do you work with a combination of these beyond the whole anxiety thing, which I just got done talking about? This can bring out the hard worker in you. So, this is where you choose to roll up your sleeves and say, you know what, this is what I want, because Mars is also our ambition, and this is how I'm going to go after it. Well, if you wanted to work at this wonderful company, did you even apply? You've got to take action. Mars is action. There's got to be an action to correlate with what you want. And in the sign of Virgo, this is going to be your health, your daily routine, being of service to others. It is the helper industry. So it is hospitality, health and healthcare workers, and the healthcare system. Mars going through it, it could burn some bridges. It just can. It just can. But on a personal level, define what it is. What do you want for your own health, wellness, your levels of anxiety? How are they doing? What can you do about it? Instead of being victimized by this anxiety burst, which, if left unchecked, can turn into a full blown panic attack. What are some tools you can do to prevent the escalation of that? Breath work is one. Focus on your breath because when we get anxious, we get all in the upper, we breathe up in our chest. It can make us dizzy. If you blow up a whole bunch of balloons, you get dizzy in the head, right? And so if you just stop for a moment, don't hyperventilate, slow your breath down, and vision your breath, maybe even as a beautiful color, your favorite color. Not red, though. Any other color. Okay, also not black. So not red and not black. Any other color will work. And you imagine seeing your breath, and as you're being slowly, deeply inhaling, see the color going up into your mind and your nasal passages and going down and filling your lungs with this wonderful favorite color of yours. And you say to yourself, I am safe in this right now moment. I am breathing slowly and deeply, knowing that I am safe in this right now moment. Because you've got to tell yourself the truth. And so doing that is going to help you build a bridge of trust between your lower self and your higher self. Your higher self already knows all the answers. They're like, oh no, they're falling off the rails again. I wish they would just slow down and breathe. Well, now you're hearing it here. This is a tool to prevent going into a full blown panic attack. It's slowing the breath, focusing now on the breath, turning the breath, imagining the breath as a color and breathing that color and seeing that color begin to fill you, and especially filling all of the lungs, including the bottom third. Most people never fill the bottom third of their lungs. Nice, beautiful, hearty, deep, cleansing breaths. It feels so good. Why do we sigh or yawn? It's because we need more oxygen. When we are doing this short little breath up here, that's not healthy. Think of like a little panicking mouse. Slow down. Think of breathing like an elephant. Slow breaths. Slow breaths. Chill. In this right now moment, I am safe. And then if you did have your eyes closed, then you open your eyes and you smile. Because even if you fake a smile, stuff is still going on in your physiology that helps you to have awareness of things to smile for and about. And then this is going to start to change your behavior patterns in a favorable way. We want that. That's going to also connect with your ability to receive things. I am worthy to receive. Oh, yes, you are. But you got to believe it. So if you ask for something, but you don't believe you're worthy of it, that there's a big wedge of separation. So how can Creator give you it? Because you're saying, I don't deserve that and they need it more than I do. Please stop doing that, especially while Venus is touring through Taurus. Okay, now Mars going through Virgo. This is wonderful to start a new workout routine, a health regimen, um, an elimination diet. Take good care of your gut. Your gut biome is your second brain. If you have brain fog, change your diet. Eliminate dairy. Dairy is not good. Dairy gives you phlegm, mucus. It gives you mucus. Anybody that sings would vouch for that. Dairy gives you mucus. Even creamer, dairy creamers. Um, and too much mucus in your system, it turns into bad things. All right. You want more alkaline in your diet. You want less acid in your diet. So Mars going through Virgo. What did I say? Until August? Mars in Virgo until August 6th is a superior time to get serious about your physical body, the physical part. Get moving. Take a walk. Mars wants action and you will get results. Just taking a simple walk up the street or around the block and then realizing how good you feel because you're regrounding yourself. And Earth loves that. And you are all of the elements, but the physical body is an Earth element. So connecting with Earth, Mars is going to reward that. And you're going to start getting leaner. You're going to shed pounds with way less effort. You don't need to go and overexert yourself. This is not Mars and Virgo. Do not overexert yourself. Take action, but go slow, because slow and steady wins the race. And that is also the nature of Taurus. Now, you're going to be feeling a lot more pressure in your life while Uranus is at the last degree of Taurus. I got to speak my truth. I got to say stuff. I got to speak up. Take that with a grain of salt because everything doesn't need to be said. Um, like you don't have to have the last word. You don't need to prove that you were right. And unfortunately, this is showing up in our media. It's really like you could think of the red and the blue just bashing one another. Okay, these opinions, this truth, well, what's true for this person is not true for that person. So I personally, I don't care who supports who. All I care about is that you're nice. And I want to help you to learn how to love yourself better. Because when you love yourself more, you become a better person. And then that gives permission, more people permission to love themselves. This is not a selfish thing. It helps you to become a better person so you can show up better in the world. And this helps anchor more light into our planet. So actually, it's being of service to all of humanity by plugging in with self-love and self-care. There is absolutely no better time than the present. In fact, these cosmic lovers, Venus and Mars, are in a aspect that's called an aspect That's called a sextile. Venus in an earth sign of Taurus. Remember I said water and earth, they like each other? Mars, that's the masculine energy, is in the sign of no, 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 no. No, that's not true. It's not a sextile, it's a trine because it's an earth energy. If it was a water energy, it would have been a trine. Oh, I love this even more now. Okay. Oh, this is great. Holy cow. So what we've got here, we've got Venus. This is Venus down here, the green. She's Venus in Taurus. We have Mars over here in Virgo, which is an earth sign. So that aspect is called a trine, and trines are fine. Trine is friendly, easy, very, very flowy. They are such good friends. So they're in the same element. This is going to help me to savor the flavor, enjoy. Like eat slowly, don't eat fast. Really enjoy. Get the mouth feel and the texture and the aromas and smell the flowers. Really, really milk the experience of your five senses. That's the invitation of Venus in Taurus. And Mars in Virgo is saying take care of your health, the physical aspect, and you will be rewarded. Why? Because now we're going to one up this big time. Because what is sextiling both Venus and Mars is Jupiter in the water sign of Cancer. That is beautiful. So, what this means is Jupiter is sextiling Venus and it is sextiling Mars, earth signs. Now, that's also why overflowing of riverbanks, because too much water overpowering the earth. Okay, now we can't do anything about that. But on an individual level, we can do things about us. We can do things about ourselves. How might this show up? Well, the sign of Cancer is the most emotional of all of the signs. So Jupiter expands what it touches. We are mostly water. And so the water in our bodies can expand, and this can result in any kind of swelling, water retention, bloating. But if you work with it and use the Mars and just a little walk around the block, a little something is better than nothing. That's what Mars and Virgo says. And then Venus in Taurus says, eat the quality food, enjoy the flavors, smell the aromatherapy, the beautiful essential oils, the flowers. Enjoy, eat slowly. Be in tune with your emotions. So, in this instance, on an individual level, your emotions might bust the floodgates and you might be overwhelmed with emotions. Now, we automatically, as humans, are wired to look for the bad. Oh no, does that mean I'm going to get something horrible I'm going to cry about? Is somebody going to get hurt or be taken away from me? What you focus on, you create. And so let us manifest this as joy, because that's what Jupiter wants. Jupiter is like Santa Claus, generous, jovial, abundant. An abundance of what? In the sign of Cancer, that's caregiving. It's nurturing. It's self-care. It says, slow down. Be in this moment with me. Celebrate love. Celebrate your life. Celebrate those that you really value in your life. And maybe even get them a little gift because Venus in Taurus loves gift giving. A bouquet of flowers, some nice chocolate. That's what Venus loves. That's what Taurus loves. Flowers, chocolate, a lot of times wine too. Okay, it's the beautiful flavors and aromas. You get the idea. And so these three together um, are such a great trifecta, which, again, what emotional floodgates are okay to break? Joy. Tell those that you love them. Not because you're afraid you're going to drop dead tomorrow, but because you want to be in this moment. I love you. This is awesome. Life is great, if it is. And there are things in your life that are great. And so celebrate those. Celebrate the wins in your column. Celebrate other wins in people's lives. Cheer them on because it will reciprocate to you. This is how you get on the track of positive abundance. You can go on the track of negative abundance. Who wants an abundance of negative? Not me. But when I had dark thoughts, and I used to be more of a rotten person because I was in a horrible way of living and disempowerment, I saw no way out. I lost my spark. Jupiter in Cancer says forgive yourself, love yourself, and find those who feel like family to you. It might not be blood family, they might be new best friends that suddenly show up. It's very, very beautiful. You want to work with this energy. And now we have it one more early degree planet, and that is Pluto, who's only going to stay in these early degrees most of this year. 3 degrees of Aquarius means my tribe, my peeps. This is such a wonderful invitation to find your tribe. Connect with like-minded individuals. But do you know what your mind likes? All right. So this is a time of, you got to be on your boat because it's getting ready to set sail. You can't stay on the dock. You got to know who you are, what you stand for, what do you love, why do you love it? Not just because I was raised that way. That ain't going to work anymore. That rug's going to get yanked out from under you. What do you love and why? Why does XYZ matter? You need to know these answers for you, not for anyone else. And when you can weave that in with your everyday life, I love this because just for yourself, that and that will help create more positivity, more of an abundant flowing good energy to celebrate every single little thing that you possibly can. And that will start to build momentum for more great things to be thankful for. Hope this makes sense to you guys. Um, it is a beautiful life if you choose to look at it that way. All right. You got to find things to be thankful for. You wake up in the morning, I get another day to make a difference or to follow my goals or to celebrate those that I love. Um, I always think of funny things. I think it becomes a lifestyle, it becomes a behavior pattern. And if you keep doing it, it becomes a lifestyle. You got to celebrate the W's. Where are those wins? And where you had an L, what did you learn from it? And if you didn't learn from it, you're going to keep getting those L's. When you apply the lesson, those L's are going to get littler and littler, and your W's are going to get bigger and bigger, and you're going to get more things to celebrate. Always look for the silver lining. Whatever you look for is what's going to show up. If you say, oh my God, why does all this stuff happen to me? And it's negative, then there's going to be more stuff to talk about that way. If you expect the best, which is the invitation of Venus and Taurus, expect the best. I am worthy to receive loving, abundant energy. I'm ready. Bring it on. And you got to believe it. Well, now you've opened the floodgates to wonderful non-crisis, positive, abundant energy, which will show up in healthier people, healthier relationships, healthier things to do, healthier things to think about, and a healthier outcome. Your body is your outcome, and it's going to be beautiful. And that's what we want. Well, that went by really fast, and I've got a really full jam-packed day with clients, so I don't have any time to go over. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Please like my channel or like my video, subscribe. If you know anyone that would enjoy this material, I would love if you would share it. And I will be back next week. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a great big hug. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.